blurry.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nikki Carly Show. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Carly.
We're trying to shorten our entrance for you, and that's what we got. So, welcome. Sorry we're late. We had to figure out what we're actually going to talk about tonight. So, because Monday sneaks up on us pretty quick.
It really does. It goes by really fast. And then today I'm like working outside like I don't have anything to do, and I'm thinking it's Tuesday all day. Like crap.
I know. And then I called you because I forgot, and I called to remind you, and then that gave you a hard time for forgetting. I totally forgot.
I totally forgot. Like I was going to cut hair and everything, which I did get.
Yeah, Jake said, "Don't you have your podcast tonight?" I was like, "Oh." I was about to get in my painting clothes.
Any better? Kind of.
Yeah, it's better. So did you have an interesting week this week?
Not too much funny stuff happened, but we did go to Supercross, the dirt bike racing.
Yeah.
Where they do like the jumps and everything. So that was really fun. That was cool. It's a lot of interesting people and patriotic people, and so it was pretty fun.
That motocross is super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. We had a good time. We ran into some friends there, which was fun. So, yeah, Nolan had a great time because he loves dirt bikes and he loves everything about dirt bikes. He watches TV about them. He goes out back and rides every day. So, yeah, it was good. But, yeah, that was pretty much all. How about you?
Well, I had an interesting week. Let's see. Well, I forgot to tell you about the oven from the retreat from last Monday.
Yeah.
And then, well, because we did our podcast on Tuesday. That's why it feels so fast, because we were off a day. That's why it feels like, yeah. So anyway, we had our retreat on Monday, and I forgot to tell you this, but so I was making my French toast bake. It's like a creme brulee French toast bake with croissants. And they said it has to sit, and I was like, okay, well, I'll bake it right before I go so it's nice and fresh. And then Mom said, well, why don't you just bake it there? I mean, I'm sure they have an oven. They'll make the house smell good. And I was like, Mom, you're so pretty. Like, you're so pretty. That's such a good idea. So I take my big pan. I leave the smaller pan for the boys. And I put it in the oven when I leave and I go. And so I'm like, I'll put it in the oven when I get there so I don't have to get up super early tomorrow. We just heat it up. Well, this place has 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, big house. I mean, pool, hot tub, game room, everything. The oven is a baby oven. A baby oven. I was like,
and
why?
You probably brought your biggest pan.
I did. And I put it in the oven. I was like, shit, like it won't, like the doors it was sticking out. So I had to like push it in to where it was like up. So like, thank God I did let it sit overnight so all the croissants had soaked in all this stuff. Because I had to squeeze it in this oven. I was like, well, I guess we're going to be like smoking this because it's going to take forever to heat because I had the doors open, But we gave I gave Mom such a hard time. I'm like, what the hell? Like, she had to say that. She's like, what are the chances they're going to have a baby oven? And I was like, baby oven, taking pictures. like shit. But yeah, so that was so fun. And then, so that night I stayed up till 4 a.m. Because I told you because I was sleeping with my friend, I was nervous. We talked till 3 and then I couldn't fall asleep after. Well, I thought, okay, I'm going to catch up. Jake's like, your whole week is ruined. I don't know why you did that because you're old and you can't sleep anymore. So Jake's asthma has been really bad, which we finally got his medicine and he's doing 100% better. So praise Jesus, is so much better. But we ended up going to the ER the other night and we're like, I kind of like being in the ER because I'm just like looking around and it's almost like I'm playing a game. I'm like, guess what you have?
Like, yeah, I know. It's so hard not to.
Right? I'm
like,
I
try not to like listen and I'm like, oh, I can't not hear you right now. Like, I'm trying not to be nosy.
Yeah, well, the hospital was full, so they were sending people down to the ER. So the ER was full, so they were treating people in the lobby. And so as soon as we came in, they took Jake back because he wasn't breathing. So they take you right back and do your vitals and stuff or whatever. But yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, flu. Oh, it's your appendix. You're going to be taken in soon. Like, some kid came in, and it's like late. I mean, it was like 10 o'clock or so, and this kid came in. It was cold too. He was in bathing suit shorts. He was still wet, and he broke his clavicle. Like you could, it was bad. Like so bad, the mom was like, "We're gonna go somewhere else because we can't wait here." Like this, he was in so much pain. But yeah, he's soaking wet. I'm like, could somebody have brought him a towel? Like, give the poor kid a towel. It's 10:30 at night and he's shivering. It's so
It's
cold out.
cold. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
I'm
you're going into a cold hospital
yeah,
too.
I'm in sweatshirt and jeans and everything, and I was still cold. And I'm like, this poor kid's soaking wet, and I was like, I'm gonna give him my sweatshirt. But yeah, so we ended up staying at the ER till about 2:30, and then the next day I had a big staging job, and and I usually don't like to share about like staging jobs, but this one was interesting because they had 6 cats and 3 dogs. So just saying that, my allergies were so bad. So Carly, I'm at this place and I'm like, my eyes, I look like Quasimodo. I'm like, like I can't catch my breath. My eyes are all swelled up because you like don't touch your eyes, don't touch your eyes because as soon as you touch your eyes, it's done. And I'm allergic to cats, so 6 of them was a lot. So I'm sneezing. I have to cross my legs, lean the wall so I don't wet my pants. Like I can't even get through the tour because I'm sneezing so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. So I on the way home I stop at the car wash and I'm vacuuming my pants. Like standing out of the car wash, vacuuming my pants, vacuuming my shoes and my car and my staging bag because there was so much cat hair. And I was like, I can't go home with Jake having asthma and he's
Oh
allergic to
God.
cats. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't walk in with all this dander. Like, and I
Yeah.
can't have it on my, I'm everywhere. So could you imagine what people are like? Like, what the hell is she doing? I'm out there vacuuming my pants.
I would have been like, she has huskies. She's
Like a
huskies.
weirdo. Like such a weirdo. But yeah, so that was pretty funny. But I did want to talk about ER trips because I thought that was a pretty interesting subject. Because I know
Yeah.
you have
So
some pretty interesting ER stories.
real quick, today, speaking of the cats, today we get to a job and we're going and we're like, okay, we'll be right in. We're getting all of our stuff. And she's like, well, what door do you want to come in? And we're like, that one's fine. The front door's fine. She goes,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, cause I have a cat that's like kind of he's Houdini, likes to get out and um yeah, and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, if you want to go ahead and put it in the room, no problem. She goes, oh, well, it's gonna take me a minute because I have 5 cats, and I was like,
Oh,
oh no.
yeah. Quasimodo. That's what you look
I
like.
I know. And I'm very allergic to cats too, and of course I did not take any allergy medicine today. So I'm like, shit, Ted, you could have found out that there was like cats here because he instantly turned around like after she went in, he was like, uh-oh. Like, I'm gonna pee my pants. Like, because I already had to pee. We go in, of course we go into the room that we're painting, and it has all the cat towers in it. I'm like,
Oh, I
shit,
can't. I can't even be near cat towers.
no. So literally, I was like, Ted, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm gonna pee my pants. Amazing. I ran to my car and I'm like, what do I have in here for like allergy meds?
I know. I
And
may have
all
I may have TT'd a little bit that
I
day.
had, I only had one kid's Claritin, so I'm like,
Oh no.
nothing better than nothing. I'll just take it.
Yeah, I
But
took
yeah,
I took Benadryl the other day at 1:30 in the afternoon, and that was after being at the ER till 2:30. So I was already dog tired. And then
oh yeah,
taking Benadryl, I was like, I can't. And I had a full day. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. That's why I had to vacuum my pants because I hadn't have time to go home. And so as soon as I got home, I like took my clothes off at the door and put them in the washer. But
yeah. So that's funny that that happened to me too this week.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not 6, but
and
yeah.
every time I go to a house, like every time I go to stage a house or I'm at a house showing a house, well, like especially staging houses because somehow people forget to tell me that there's a cat there, and so I'm making the beds, and then all of a sudden this cat will grab my ankles like with its paws, and, and I'll scream because that's like the scariest thing is somebody grabbing your
Yeah.
ankle from under a bed. Like that's your worst nightmare. Like that's your whole life growing up as a kid, jumping off your bed to get away from the boogie monster. So it always makes me scream when they're like, "Oh, we have a cat." I'm like, "Yeah, I found out. Yeah, I found out you have a cat." Or they like come and they rub on me. You
Oh
know,
yeah, of course, all the time. Like you're allergic to whatever you're allergic to. It's like that is what's drawn to you. So
yeah,
it's like you walk into a house, you're allergic to cats, and cats come up and rub all over my
all
legs. I'm
over
like,
me.
oh, hey, okay, my eyes are gonna be swollen
Yeah.
soon. It's fine.
Well, and it's funny because if somebody has a cat, if you don't pet their cat, I mean, that's offensive. Like that's
It
rude.
really is. It
Yeah.
is.
And so like I'm always like, "Oh, what? I don't want to say like I'm allergic to your cat because then they feel weird with me in the house." So I'm always like,
Yeah.
"Oh," like I like trying to play it off, but and the cat's like, brr, 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 like all up in my face. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
And I didn't say anything to this lady, right? I never said anything about being allergic or anything, like, because I don't want to make them feel bad, because it
right,
makes it very awkward. Like,
very
as soon
awkward."
as you tell somebody that you're allergic to their animals, it's like, oh, this is so weird. Do we want to go outside? Like,
Look,
but
my eyes are
so
itching just thinking about it.
I didn't say anything, and I'm upstairs sneezing, and she's like, bless you. Like, I'm pretty sure she figured it out that I'm allergic to the cat.
Dude, there's nothing worse than like showing a house or being in a house and they're like, "Well, don't let the cat out." I'm like, and it's always a cat that's trying to get out. Like they're just
Oh, wait.
waiting for you to open the door. So I did a, I did an open house for somebody, and they had cat, and I'm like, usually you put the cat away, right? Like for open houses and showings, like you put the pets
Yeah.
away. Well,
Yeah.
they didn't put the cat away, and so the cat was out. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to keep track of the cat, because there's people like coming in and out of doors. This is like back in the day when the market was really good. So there was like 15 people at the open house, and I'm like, oh, fuck, where's the cat, right? So,
Yeah.
so the cat comes in. The whole house is full. There's like a family of kids, like I'm talking to, and the kids are standing right there. The cat jumps up on the couch right next to us and starts having like a stroke. Like it's like and it's like I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like the cat's literally like trying to die in front of us on the couch, and the kids are like, what's happening? And I'm like, they're like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know, I don't have a cat. Like, is this normal?
You start giving the cat CPR.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Am I gonna have to save this cat like at an open house? Like, am I gonna have to be like, hey, we had a really great showing. There was like 15 families, but your cat died on the couch. Like,
Oh my
what the
God.
hell? I mean, Carly, it was like the craziest thing. This cat was like, and like spazzing out on the couch, like right in front of everybody.
Did it hack up a hairball and then walk away like, good, we're good?
No, it like spazzed out. Like it was having like a seizure. And then we were all just staring at it like, what? And they like stopped and we're all just waiting. And then the judge just gets up, walks away, and I'm like, oh, well, so what did you think of the house? Like, so awkward.
Did you see the master? Yeah, you're gonna go see the master. Let's.
That walk-in shower is really pretty. Yeah.
The
It's
couches
crazy.
aren't staying. They're not staying. We're
No,
just
not the
go
cat.
check
Do you
out
want the cat? Because I'm pretty sure he's got one life left. One. So I was watching my neighbor's cats, which is pretty funny because, and this was in Florida, and she had a couple of cats. And I had been to her house a couple times, and I never saw the cats because, they hide, right? So I
Yeah.
guess, I guess you have cats that like you and cats that don't, and these cats hid all the time. I'm like, why
Yeah.
do you even have cats? Just so you can feed them because they never come out.
Yeah.
So I never even knew like what her cats look like, right?
Hold
Who's-
please.
Who's here? Oh, hi, Dane. Hi, hi, Dane.
Hi.
We have a guest on tonight.
Okay. All right. Time
He
to
is
go.
he is scoffing.
Okay. All right.
You never know who you're going to see in here. Surprise visits.
Sorry about that.
No, it was fine.
Carry on.
But
I guess I should lock the door.
No kidding. He is escaping.
He's a quick little one.
Yeah.
The cat.
So she asked me to watch her cats while they were out of town. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Oh, you can go lock it. So I was like, okay, tell me what I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't have cats, so I don't really know, like, how many times you feed an animal like this. Like, does it just drink out of the toilet? Like, I don't get it. Like, what happens? And so, so she's like, okay, well, like, they go out during the day and then they'll come back at night. And so they'll just be waiting on the patio and you can let them in. And I'm like, okay. Like, do they come back? She's like, yeah, they come back. And I'm like, all right. So I go, and then one of the nights, the cats come back, and the cat is like cut down the eye, and it's all looking crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, your cat got, because we lived by the preserve, like the woods. We had bobcats and boars and God knows what else, probably panther. Yeah, I mean we had everything out there. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, your cat got attacked. Whatever. It's like I'm like, but now I look at it, it's kind of healed. Like I don't know, and I'm like, what do your cats look like? It wasn't her cat. It was a tomcat.
Random ass cats in this woman's house.
Yes, and I didn't know which one it like I didn't know if they were all there.
The real cats are like, shit. When are you gonna let us in?
The cat's like, hey, it's my house. I live here. So, yeah, I had this tomcat in her house. I mean, it's a wild cat, which I'm sure it's probably not a good thing, right? Like to have a tomcat in your house.
Oh, it probably peed all over her house. She probably got home smelling cat urine.
Well, funny, like skip ahead. She ended up keeping him and named him Tom.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I found you a cat. I adopted a cat for you.
You're welcome. I don't know where your other cat is, but there are 3 in the house. You're welcome.
That's so funny. Yeah, I did the same thing when my neighbor asked me to watch her cat. I was like, so what do we do for a cat? Bad one. Never watched them. I don't know. But it was pretty easy.
My neighbor here asked me to watch her son's cat. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Because, usually if it's like one cat, it's fine. I'm like, and if I'm in and out, as long as I don't like put my face in them, and there are a few cats where I'm like, oh man, I just want to pet you because you're so cute and so soft. But then I'm like, I can't. I'll look like Quasimodo. And Logan's super allergic to cats too. And we were at a friend's house and they had this white cat that was like pure white, soft. And I'm like, don't touch the cat. And he comes out and he's like Quasimodo. His eyes are all swelled up. He's like walking all like, I'm like, you touched the cat. He's like, it's so soft. I'm like, no. But yeah, and she's like, she feels so bad. And I'm like, no, don't feel bad. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm happy to do it. But the cat like demanded that you pet it. And it would not like stop unless you pet it. It was so cute. So of course I just like loved all over this cat. Like, I was all up in his face, like, ooh, and I'm like, I'm going to regret this. But he was so cute. Like, he demanded that you, like, love on him.
I know. I love those cats. I went to a friend's house one time, and I was, like, 20. And my girlfriend and I are sleeping on the pull-out couch. Well, they had a couple cats in the house. And we wake up in the morning, and there's a huge cat turd in the center of us. We're both like, oh shit. We're all snuggled, sleeping with cat food.
Oh, nasty.
I guess he didn't appreciate us being there.
Oh, nasty. Remember when we were at Natalie's and she had the cats and Shannon was like, the cat was laying on her. we hear Shannon's like, Nat, you get your cat. The cat she was in her bed and the cat was laying on her, just staring at her face. And she was like, can you get the cat? That
Well,
was
did
so
it bite
funny.
her or something
Yeah,
the night
she
before?
yeah, so she was trying to move it and it was biting her through the covers, so she wouldn't take her arms out. So she was like trying to move it with her shoulders, and the cat's like, "Why you in my bed? Where's my person?" This is so
That
funny.
was so funny. So yeah, so back to the ER. Funny story with that. I one night Maddox was starting to get sick, and we had like the stomach virus or whatever. So and I'm like paranoid that my kids are gonna puke on their rugs. Like that is like the worst to me.
Oh,
Like having to clean up carpet, not rugs, but carpet. So I'm like, go to the trash can. Well, he runs to the trash can. He's throwing up in the trash can. So I run out to him. As soon as I get to him, I black out, pass out, fall back, hit my head on
oh
the
yeah, I remember that.
kitchen floor. So, and I come to and am instantly throwing up. So I know I have a concussion because I could not stop throwing up. Like, just could not stop. So now Ted's taking us to the ER because I can't stop throwing up. I know I have a concussion. Like, we got to go see how bad it is. I mean, the lump on the back of my head was huge. So we get to the ER. Maddox is still throwing up. He's in the back of the van with a trash can throwing up. Ted has to walk me in. Like, I'm dizzy. I've got like vertigo too because it like knocked my crystals out of my head. I'm throwing up. I mean, it was like so bad. It was the worst ER visit. And he's going in and out from the ER to
But
my
there was a
car.
reason. But there was a reason. Like, was it COVID or something? Like, because the boys had to stay in the
Yeah, because we
car,
couldn't have them inside.
and
Yeah.
Ted couldn't be with you, so he was bringing you in, but then going back to the boys, and Nolan was in the car with the boys.
Yeah, Nolan was in with the boys. They're in there, and he's running in and out, and they're like giving him a hard time about where he's parked. He's like, my wife's in there with a concussion, my kid's in the car throwing up. Like, I don't know what to do. That was so bad.
So bad.
I was just apologizing to the guy that had to wheel me back to the CT scanner because I was like dry heaving the whole way there. I was so sorry. I can't stop. Like, I can't stop.
It's so embarrassing.
It was so embarrassing. And then I had to lay on the table and I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, let me try. Like, at that point, nothing was coming out. I was just diving the whole way. The whole way through the ER. I could not stop. Like, my body would not stop. It was the craziest
Oh,
thing. It was so embarrassing. God, that was embarrassing.
you know when you gag like that, like we we were at a really nice restaurant, and Emily was probably 5 or 6 or whatever, maybe a little bit, maybe 4. That she would stand up on the booth, to eat, and
Yeah.
she got a piece of hair in her food. It was at Cobblestone, so it was dark and like moody and like candles and everything. And here she is, gets this hair in her throat. Now she's like, like, I cannot stop. So loud. Everybody's looking at us. We're like, we're really sorry. We're really sorry. Like, we're trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden she's like, got it, and like she's done. She goes back eating. We're like, oh my gosh, check please. It was so bad, but like, you ever got like something stuck in your throat like that?
Hair. If my hair gets in my mouth, I instantly gag. Like, I
Oh,
cannot do hair in my
I
mouth.
cannot do hair. No, I
Jane
hate.
can't either. If he gets it, he is gagging bad. And he's like trying to grab it out of his throat. It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's so
Why is
bad.
that so funny though? Like when
I
somebody
know.
gags, why is it so funny?
Oh, I
Or like
can't.
somebody farts, like it's so funny. Like you can't not laugh.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't. So when I was in the ER, so at Cobblestones, when I was working at Cobblestones, I was bartending, and one of my one of the patrons got really sick and had to go to the ER. Well, they couldn't drive or whatever, and they didn't have anybody with them. Sorry, I have something in my eye. And so I was like, well, I'll take them. I'm done with my shift or whatever. So I took them to the ER, and I was like, well, let me just wait here because they don't have anybody, and I took them here. So let me just make sure they're okay, and whether they're gonna keep them or whatnot. So I'm just sitting in the ER, middle of the night, and the ER had like a glass wall
Yeah.
to the parking lot, and then it had a glass hallway that came into the reception desk. So I'm just sitting, like, waiting. Excuse me.
Where
Sorry.
did that come from?
I don't know, dude. I'm tired.
That was so random.
I was trying to fight it, and then it just took over. So I'm sitting there in the ER. It's like 2:30 in the morning. And these lights pull up, right? And I'm like, oh, good. Something's coming in. Like,
I can guess again.
like I'm going to be awake. Like, now I can, like, be awake again. Like, coming in hot. Like, lights coming in hot. Guy runs through the hallway, stops halfway, and he's yelling at the receptionist, my wife's having a baby! Runs back out to the car. Well, the lady at the receptionist is probably like, yeah, your wife's having a baby. Happens every day. Like, we're fine.
Yeah.
So she's eating like a snack, right? Guy comes running back halfway through again. He goes, I can see the head. So now the receptionist's got a pep, and she's gathering people. They're all running out, like finishing up their snacks. Run out to the car that's in the drive-through. You know what I mean? Through the ER entrance.
Yeah.
And then you see half the crew run back in and grab a stretcher and run back out. And then the next second, the lady's coming through with the baby between her legs. Right? And they're like rushing her back to the back. This was so fun. This night was interesting. So they all run back, all the crew and everything, they all run back with the lady and the baby. And the husband comes and he's standing halfway the hall, and he's like looking at his car, looking at his baby, looking at the car, looking at the baby, like, do I go park the car or do I go with my baby? Like, and there was nastiness in his car. Like, you're just going to have to get rid of that car. Like, that, you just have to sell that car. Like, not even, just trash it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was
Yeah,
so
well,
fun.
I used to work in L&D, and my first day, I'm in there, and I had brand new sneakers on, like white sneakers. I was all excited. And I'm standing there, and I'm the surgical tech, so I was behind the doctor helping her deliver the baby and give her whatever she needs, help hold, do whatever, you got to do. And I'm standing there. Well, come to find out really quick, you don't get that close.
No.
Of course, all the fluid shot out all over me, all over my new white shoes.
So gross.
It was so nasty. I was so disgusted. Never do that again.
Yeah.
So from the positive to the back. But yeah, so speaking of farts, the other night it was so funny. When Mom was here, I don't know if I told you this, but the other night we were sitting in the back of her car. Did I tell you this on here? We were sitting in the back of her car watching the flag football game. And it was really cold, so we were staying inside the trunk of her SUV.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, and she has this like rubber mat thing in the back to help. It's
Like the weather tech.
Yeah. So she has that, and she had fed me pork for dinner, and pork I do not do good with pork. Like, it makes my belly hurt really bad. So I'm like, Mom, my belly is speaking to me. So I leaned forward and coughed, but I farted really loud. And I tried to cover it up, and I was like, like, and you could totally hear it. She snapped up and looked at me, like, her face. And I was like, Mom, if nobody heard it, now they know. Like, you totally just gave it away. Like, if anybody thought, like, was that something? Like,
No, the first thing we need to do is check your hearing, because, yeah, there's no hiding that.
It was so bad. Now I'm crying, laughing. Just like, oh my gosh, I know somebody heard that. I'm so nasty sometimes.
Right.
I will admit
um, yeah, so I think that's, I mean, that's my week. Oh, I've been painting. So it's funny because I had this big cactus. It was like 4 feet wide and like 4 feet tall. It's huge. It's huge. And I had it in a pot, but I loved it. But I'm like, okay, I need to do something different. It's blocking my sprinklers now and stuff. So I gave it away. And the couple that came was so sweet. And they, I'm like, you're gonna need gloves. Don't touch it. Whatever. And so we were talking, and it ends up that they need real estate because I'm not above it, and I'm always talking about
it.
it.
You have to.
But
That's how you get it.
yeah, well, it's funny because the last time I gave something away, she was looking for a lease, and we actually got her under a lease that day. And then this time it was real estate, so I'm like, I'm gonna start giving shit away. But I'm in my painting clothes, like in my painting clothes. My pants have paint all over them. I'm in a ripped like shirt, and I bought the ugliest shoes, but they are so comfortable. I'm like, they're so comfortable. And then I didn't have any makeup on or anything. I was like, my hair was wet, and I was like getting ready for the day, but I was gonna paint first before we went anywhere. And I realized, I was like, oh, I usually look a little more professional than this. But they were like, it's fine. I was like, oh, these shoes are so bad.
I can't believe you even showed them to anybody if they're that bad.
I know, but they're so comfy. And I had to get this. So I have so I'm coming to see Carly next week. So I'm super excited. But I have 8 bottles to get finished before I come. So I'm trying to finish them before I leave so that I have them off my plate. So I've been painting, and I'm like, okay, I have an hour before church. I have, 2 hours after dinner. So I'm just kind of doing it. And I hate to pull out the paints because then they dry up and you have to mix a color or whatever. So anyway, I'm doing this project, and it's new for me. I've never done this. So I text Carly to show, Carly totally, you're just so mean to me, Carly.
She texts me her pictures today, and I'm like, it looks like my kindergartner put these on. Because she had to put these stick-on pearl things on the bottle, and she could not do it. The whole time she's doing it, she's complaining to me.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Which is funny. Which I mean, and I mean this humbly, but I can paint, but to do that for me is so difficult. We were talking about this, but I can't do florals. I can't put florals together. Not in my wheelhouse. Terrible at it. I can't make a table setting. I can set a plate, but I can't do the centerpiece of a table. It's awful. I have a friend that does it, and it looks like $1,000,000. Like a party planner came and set it up, and it's so beautiful. And I'm making notes and taking pictures. While I'm at the party, I'm gonna get that, and then I casually drop in where did you get those trees from? Where did you get this? Because yeah, and so last Christmas I tried to do it. It was so bad because she had greenery and big trees and a tower and all this pretty stuff, and I was like, I could do that, dude. There was there was weeds in my food. I was like, this is terrible. I was like, why is this sap? What's wrong with me? But it's funny because there's just stuff I can't do. And there's stuff that when we're together, you have to do because you're so detailed. So Carly's the way more detailed and in the smaller kind of things. And I'm more big picture. So the two of us work really well together because I don't get all the little tiny things where Carly's like, oh, you missed that little corner, whatever. So it's super fun. Turn it on.
No, I didn't see it.
Made him turn the fan off.
Oh.
Actually, I probably should keep it off because it keeps taking layers off over here. You're lucky you got the camera this way. You've been for a show. But yeah, so we were laughing because, we're both artists. We've told you that. I can paint, Carly can sell. So, Carly gets waiting lists for her art. And but I'm selling bottles,
Yeah.
so
Well, we'll see if you sell these. If you can,
you shut up.
you can fix the kindergarten. I was like, were you drunk putting these on?
I had to peel them all off today and start over. I had to go back to the store and get all new ones. They
Oh
were
my
so
God.
bad, but these look good. These ones look good. I cursed
Yeah,
the whole time because I was
you
like,
did much better.
much better. I had paint in my hair this morning, like it was bad. But but our grandmother used to paint, and so it's our whole family's pretty artistic. So my grandfather's brother is like a really really good artist, and I don't even think I've ever met him, but they had his art all on their house, and then my dad was super super artistic, like so he
Mhm.
did the rugs where he would do like a big art and then cut it out and put it into a yacht. But he could paint. I mean, he could build whatever. Like he would just build something, and it was amazing. And
Mhm.
then our mom's mom, she was a seamstress. And so she could sew anything. So she made our cousin's wedding dress. And I'm complaining to Carly about this little strip of pearls. And I'm like, Graham hand beaded a wedding dress. Like the whole dress hand beaded it. Not just like the neckline. Like the whole dress she hand beaded it. Can you imagine hand beading a whole dress?
How long that took? Hell no, I don't have the patience for that.
She made the
They're
dress
like,
first and then
neckline
hand beaded
done.
it. Yeah, like straps done. Pearls, you're welcome. Like, I mean, she made the dress and then hand beaded it.
She made your veil and then I wore it too. That
Yeah,
was fun.
I think everybody's worn it so far. But yeah, and that had like just pearls throughout it.
Mhm.
But so, honey, our dad's mom started painting when she was probably in her 60s. I mean,
Later.
yeah, I mean, she didn't start painting until she was older. But like our aunt paints, our aunts are super creative. We have another aunt that's unbelievable. I mean, well, I guess she's like our cousin. She's my dad's cousin.
Yeah.
And she does stained glass and like these beautiful pieces for South
Beautiful
Florida.
pieces. I love
Yeah,
it.
they're all over the city in South Florida. I mean, she's just unbelievable. So like we
Mhm.
come from a line of artists, but but
But
yeah,
ask Nicole to put pearls on a bottle.
can't do it.
No
Can't do it.
bueno.
Make a silk floral arrangement. I'm out. Like it looks like a kindergartner did it. Like whenever you go places and they're like, "Oh, make your own bouquet." I'm like, "Nope, I'm not gonna do
No,
it."
no.
Nope.
If I have to do lettering, I'm like, nope, can't do it.
No.
Writing.
Yeah.
I usually have Emily do it for me.
Oh, Emily's so good at like handwriting, but she won't
Yeah.
do mine. I'm like, "Can you write this for me?" She's like, "Nope, I don't want to mess it up." I'm like, "I'm gonna mess it up if you don't. Like one of us is gonna mess it up, so at least you should try."
Yeah. Yeah.
But but our grandmother, like she would start painting at 60. But okay, so the hardest thing to do are faces, and she would just paint faces like nobody's business. I'm like, how do you just start painting and you start with the hardest thing ever, and you paint these faces? But then she could sew, but she didn't like to sew, so she would crochet. But she got this fabric from the thrift store, and it was like an African fabric, and so she made us like 100 African dolls.
Tons. There were so many of them.
I had so many black African dolls, baby dolls, like at my house.
Yeah.
Like people would be like, "What? Why do you have that?"
Weird.
Like it would be
Weird.
like it would be okay if
Wouldn't
I had
take
like
y'all for having African dolls.
right, like it
Yeah.
would be okay if I had one, but like six,
Yeah, it was very random.
yeah, it was so random. But I still have them. But she loved like painting, like
And
I
she
mean,
loved crocheting. That's the blanket that I gave you. The holy blanket.
yeah.
And then didn't she crocheted bathing suits for all of our guy
Oh my
cousins.
gosh. So she made us dresses, which were so cute. The
Yeah.
crochet dresses she made, but then she made the boys like bikini bathing suits. And one of our cousins would not wear it. He was like, "No, I'm not wearing it." They were like, "Well, you can't go swimming." He's like, "Fine, I won't go swimming." Because they would they would put them on, and they were fine until they got wet, and then they would like sag, and their little weakie would stick out.
Oh,
was so mad.
Because
It was terrible.
they were like 3 and 4. They were older. Like they were like
Yeah,
what, 10 probably?
yeah, they
12?
were like, yeah, well, probably 8. I mean, old enough to be aware.
Yeah.
And our one cousin was like, "No, I'm not wearing it," and like it was super offensive to her if you didn't wear it. So it was so funny. But I didn't. When did you start actually doing artwork?
I honestly, one of my old neighbors was getting rid of an old fence, so I cut it up and I made boards with it, and I
Oh, so
made
you didn't start. So you didn't start until I did the pelican. Because I did the pelican, and then you did. That's when you did the boards.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Then you sold the boards. I didn't sell the pelican.
I made like $500 off that one fence panel.
I gave the pelican to Mom. She gave it back to me. I have a pelican hanging in my laundry room.
That is the prettiest pelican, though. It really is. So
So great. So that's when you started. Awesome. I should have never asked that question on air. Because I don't want anybody to know I'm crying.
yeah. That was it?
Yeah, because that's when we did the boards. Because I had those boards and I put it together and I did that pelican. And you were like, "That's a great idea. I have this fence. Let me do this." And then that's when you got the waiting list. And that's when all my friends have your sea turtle at their house. Yeah.
I have 2 in the making. I need to finish them so I can sell them. Because they need to go. Take
Yeah.
up space.
I started in high school. I didn't start art till high school. Like Jake
Yeah, I mean,
was
you've always been so good. Like, I don't remember you ever not doing art. Like, I don't remember it.
Yeah, but I didn't actually start art until high school. And then Jake was asking me the other day, and that's why I was like, "Yeah, I know." And he's like, "Well, did your grandmother like teach you how to paint?" And I said, "No, she didn't start art till she was in her 60s at least." I was like, "But she used to teach us how to play piano. So she would try to teach us piano and how to crochet, but no." And Graham taught us how to sew. So I know how to sew because of Graham and Mom. Mom taught me.
Yeah.
So I know that stuff, but
My
yeah.
favorite painting of yours is still the sea turtle you painted me that flicks me off.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite still too.
That's the best one. But
But and
did
my
you?
so I have to paint these flowers on the bottles, and y'all, flowers are no joke. Like they are really really hard to paint. I
Yeah.
mean, I can paint a rabbit with its hair, like detail, but a rose is super super challenging. And so I'm doing all these flowers on the bottles and stuff, and it's like stressing me out. Like it's hard. But my grandmother our honey used to put, she used to paint these giant canvases of flowers and give it to us. And they were awful. I mean, like looking back on them, like the art of it was nice, but it was like, what am I going to do with these flowers? Like,
Yeah,
what
I
am I
mean,
going
at
to,
the
they
time,
never
you
matched
didn't have
anything.
anything to do with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had a nail in my wall. And when she would come over, I would hang it up. And then when she'd leave, I would take it down because I never
You
wanted to
wouldn't.
hurt her feelings. So I
Yeah.
always hung it up when she came in. But she did a whole wall of flowers. And I never like really understood how amazing that was until I started painting flowers.
That's why she had it on her wall for 20 years because it was so hard to do.
Yeah,
She's
no
like, I ain't
kidding.
taking that piece down ever.
No. And she did the whole wall. It looked like wallpaper. Like it was beautiful. But I mean,
Mhm.
it was like, I'm like, man, I just did
That
not.
was over the red couch that I used to sleep on every time I go there. There's so many pictures of me sleeping on the couch with my mouth wide open. I remember one day, didn't you come in and wake me up and I had my mouth open like that? And
Every time.
I opened my eyes and I was like,
Every time I wake you up, you have your mouth open.
I don't think I sleep like that anymore, but there was like a time where it was like physically, like my mouth would like physically hold itself open.
You're the reason why I can't fall asleep on a plane. I have like a legit fear of falling asleep on the plane because I'm like, okay.
Why did that happen?
Mom fell asleep on the plane and like fell asleep on the guy next to her and slept the whole time and like drooling and everything. And mom woke up and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." He said, "You were just sleeping so nicely. I didn't want to wake you up." Oh my gosh. I have to tell you this story. I think we have a few minutes left. So it's poor mom. This should be just our mom podcast because she gives us enough material to like get us through. So mom had LASIK, and so she had the surgery and they gave her a Valium, and she had never had Valium before. Well, they forgot to mention that like you're not supposed to drive for 48 hours or whatever after the surgery. Well, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get my tires done." So she gets up first thing in the morning, goes to the tire place to get her tires done. And so it's like the first appointment. And so she's sitting in the lobby and she's like, "I think I'm just gonna lay down, close my eyes for just a second." She falls asleep on the bench in the lobby at the tire place. She's there. She woke up at 5.
Because they were closing.
She's like, "Why would you wake me up? Like, I had things to do today."
Could you imagine?
You know how many people came in and out of that lobby all day? From 7 to 5? How many people came in and watched her sleep on the bench? They're like, "Oh, I guess there's no place to sit. We'll just stand over here."
And she probably had her mouth open because she was so.
She's on Valium. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was passed out. We went to Mexico and we were doing a mission trip there in Juarez, and so funny enough, I was painting a mural in the children's ministry, and so we had to go across the border to get paint, and so it's a little dicey, right? Like going over the border, it's a little nerve-wracking, and you have to go through customs and stuff. And we picked up somebody from the airport, and we were bringing her and her daughter back with us. So we stopped at Walmart, got some paint, picked them up, and we're bringing them back over the border. Well, she's like, she says, "Something on the plane really got me. I'm having this really bad allergy, allergy attack." And we're like, "Okay, well, we'll get you something at Walmart." She's never had Benadryl before. Like, and I mean, that's like puts you in a coma, right? You take 2 Benadryl and you're out. Well, so I give her the Benadryl because I think I had Benadryl. Yeah. So I had given her the Benadryl. I said, "Have you ever taken Benadryl before?" She was like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, it's probably going to make you sleepy." So she takes it. Well, we go to Walmart, and I'm running around getting the stuff, and the woman we're with, she's getting supplies for, like, the trip and stuff, food and whatnot. And she went to the, like, pharmacy there and got medicine. Well, she can't. It's all in Spanish. And you can get higher medicines there than you can. So she gets like a super dose of something and like drinks it. So now she's on Benadryl and some other stuff. We don't even know. So she's now sleeping at the bench outside of this Walmart. Like in an area you don't sleep. Yeah, bench tired. She passed out on the bench like you don't sleep there. That's where you get kidnapped. Like you don't sleep on a bench outside. And so she passed out, and her daughter's like, I can't get her to wake up. Like, she can't stay awake. So we have to, like, help her to the truck. And we put her in, and we're going through the border, and we're like, "You have to be awake. Like, this looks really bad if you're not awake. Like, you have to keep your eyes open while we go through the border. Like, it looks like we're smuggling you. Like, we've kidnapped you."
She was drugged. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so crazy. So that's what we call it, bench tired. So
I know, we say it all the time too.
And that's why. Yeah, because she bench tired her. She passed out. We couldn't even keep her. She was like this in the truck. We're like, "No, dude, you cannot do that when we're going through the custom. Like, you can't do that at the border. Like, that looks bad, right? Like, what's wrong with your friend? Oh, she took some Benadryl. She's fine." Like, it's terrible.
When we went to the Supercross, we were walking up, and there's this guy is passed out in his car, like seat back, mouth wide open, sleeping, feet up on the dash. We're like, he's bench tired.
I've fallen asleep in the car line. and like had the windows down and didn't realize that the school let out. And I was just sitting there with my mouth open and windows open, kids walking past me. I'm like, okay. Like, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So funny.
I hate falling asleep in public. Like that's the worst feeling because I had some times at school where I fell asleep. One time I fell asleep and I had a blue folder that I was laying on and I drooled. And when I they woke me up, the next class came in and woke me up. It wasn't even my own classmates. It was the next class. What the hell? These people couldn't wake me up. So I wake up and huge drool mark on my folder and my face was dyed blue. So I was so embarrassed. I'm pretty sure I called mom to come pick me up. I was so embarrassed.
You know the worst? The worst is when you fall asleep, like when you're a kid and you fall asleep and then you wake up and it's like dusk and you're like, is it today or tomorrow?
I've done that to my kids because I've seen those videos. I've
Yeah.
done it where they thought it was the next day. I'm like, hurry up, we gotta go. We gotta get ready for school. What are we doing? Go.
Our kids have done, Logan's done that where he's come in with his backpack and we're like, what do you, like, what do you do? Oh, and the worst is when, I know when I was little, like, I did that and I woke up and mom was making breakfast for dinner. And I
Oh,
was so confused. And my dad was like, our dad was like, not telling me. And I was yelling at him. I'm like, is it today or tomorrow? Like, what day is it? Like, what? Like, how long have I been asleep? But, that's the best sleep, though.
I
But
know,
then
really.
you're not going to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Well,
Nate's done that a few times where he's like, But I swear, like, Nate thinks we're the grandparents from Willy Wonka. In the Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Because every
wow.
time he leaves, we're in bed. And then when he gets home, we're in bed. Like, we're just laying there talking to him. We're like, we promise we work all day. But just when the time he gets home.
Yeah.
Because, he has practice after school and whatever. So, like, when he gets home, we're, like, in the same place. It looks like we're total bums. Like, we don't do anything. Like, I
I know.
promise we work
So
all
sad.
day.
I look forward to getting into bed every day. I'm like, oh, is it almost bedtime yet?
I know. And my bed is so nice.
I
But,
know.
well, this is fun. So, I will be with you next week. So, we'll do it together in the same room. Y'all get to
Uh,
see Carly's room.
oh, I'll just make sure my closet's closed.
No, that's all right. You got to see mine the week before with my green screen.
Well, that's every time. Like the closet will be open. It's our game closet, and you can see it through my headphones. I would wear
Oh
headphones.
yeah.
Like, oh, please, gotta go close my closet. Anyway, well, I
Oh.
can't wait to see you, sister.
I know. I can't wait to see you, and I'm sure we'll have lots of stuff to share on Monday because we have a busy, busy weekend.
Oh yes, we do, and we have all of our aunts to share it with and family, so it'll be great. And mommy's coming.
Oh,
So
we're gonna have to move it to Tuesday.
yes,
Yeah. So next week it'll be Tuesday night.
yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
All
love
right,
you.
love you.
I'll see you